I can't take them on my own, Oh, I'm not the one, you know, I have killed a man and all I know is...
Hey YouTubers, a long time no see, and I'm sure you hate me for that one. It's been a long time since I last made a video, mainly because everything is going wrong. There's not one thing that has been going right for me in the past month. One of the big reasons as to why you haven't seen a video is I have a new job. I no longer work at the pet shop. I'm working at a mill, taking care of weighing up the paper to make sure that we're actually getting a proper supply of paper before we coat it and send it out to the rest of the world. That's my job. I sit a majority of my week at this job. I get about 3 hours of sleep a day. It's really exciting. I can't go to bed early. It's not something I do. It hurts my mind. Anyway. On top of that, I'm making a lot of money, and it's both bad and good. It's good because I'm saving a lot of money. It's bad because I'm spending a good amount of money on things that I usually would not be able to spend. Which is going to explain a few things, I guess, later on in the video. God, let's just shut that off. Beautiful. Beautiful. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what's going on in the fish room. I put quotes around it because it is no longer the same. If you imagine anything that was in the last update video, I want you to imagine every single bit of it is different, because there are only two things in the fish room that are the same, and that is the bearded dragons and the Savannah monitor lizard. Now, no, I'm not going to show you what it all looks like right now because it looks awful. I had huge plans for two different things, and they both went horribly wrong. Number one thing before I continue, don't buy imports unless you're really willing to risk your money or spend your money on vet bills. I recently purchased, and by recently I mean over a month ago, bought a pair of Coyotes Bashi or Bache or Baki, however you pronounce it, blue-headed coyotes from Vietnam. It is a brand new species discovered January 13th in 2013. That's this year, brand new species. It became available on the market from a, well, retailer that had got its from his distributor. So, recently imported, he brought it home, sends it out for a high price. It was a okay price that I was willing to pay just because it was a new species, but it was pushing a little bit because coyotes are kind of cheap. It's not a very commonly sought after lizard, I suppose. The green coyotes have very good coloration on them. Males have a really distinctive red head with green bodies during breeding season, or showing off any kind of territorial disputes. Really cool looking lizards, but otherwise there's a lot of them that just and it's just kind of there. It's not really a pet you can really handle. It's more of a look, don't touch kind of a deal. Now, I had bought both of these, male and female. What received was a beyond dehydrated male, almost dead, died within 24 hours. And a female that turns out to be a male and is a completely different species. It is a Coyotes versicolor, one of the most common species of coyotes you can possibly find. Usually you're looking at about retail as 15 bucks. I did not spend 15 bucks on these lizards. Otherwise it would have been a lot nicer. Now, both being males, one dead, I had asked for another male. I had not known at the time that the one that I did have was not a female. Nor did I know it was a different species. So I asked for my male. He resent a male 3 weeks later, after the second male died that he was going to send out. 3 weeks later, I get a new male. The male seizures the next day for an entire week and finally dies. At this point in time, I am out of everything because I have just realized I have no female. I realized that on week 3. I then contacted him. He said he would contact me with an update. And as of last week, I have never heard from him again. Never saw an update, never saw anything. I disputed the claim or the transaction. I got all my money back. That is how it should be. If you're going to screw up by spending money on something you're not sure about from someone you're not sure about, who looks like a really good dealer, who has beautiful pictures of his animals, who has a lot of good reputation, be careful. Just watch it, because there's not always great people out there, and they're going to screw you over at some point in time. So I got all my money back from that. It was really good kind of outcome to it. It was a pain in the ass because it was over a month of dealing with this, trying to get my 2 lizards that I had paid for. Obviously, to him, it wasn't worth it anymore. And then on top of that, I bought a pair of sailfin chameleons, or cristatus, chameleons, I don't know. Cristatus is another one. I say cristatus because a lot of people get them confused with it's like a 2-horn sailfin chameleon or something like that. Cristatus, C-R-I-T-A-T-U-S. It's a rarely seen chameleon that's been imported every now and again, and people are trying to captive breed it because it is something that is actually highly sought after. When I had purchased it, there were, maybe like 2 pairs left over, and they had only been in the location for about 2 days. So that was my bad, because I purchased animals that I knew had only been there for a couple days, and had no idea as far as the infestation of worms that they might have had. Purchased them, brought them here, male and a female. Female was gravid, but she looked kind of crappy. She died 3 days later, and the male slowly died all the way up till 2 days ago, I want to believe. I purchased them, God, I want to say mid-June, maybe late June. So that's a double whammy. I spent a lot of money again on them. Didn't work out at all. Contacted a vet. They said, you know what, we can spend a lot of money on this and put a lot of money towards trying to treat them, but the chances of them surviving anyway are very slim to none. You're kind of out of luck. So that's where I have been as far as my reptile experience goes. So meanwhile, I have something else to show you that is reptile, that is new, that is a good number, that is colorful, that is easy to keep, and I'm going to talk about them for a little bit. And that's all I'm going to have for today. Now next week, I plan on having a shipment arrive of actually healthy animals. And I'll show you what they are next week. Yeah. Alright, so let's get started on what I do have here. Alright, if you can't already tell, what you're looking at is a leopard gecko. I used to work with leopard geckos when I was a kid. Oh, yeah, that is a camera, dude. Kind of went downhill with it. I did keep them, however, the parents wanted tanks cut back, so I decided to combine and stick them in smaller tanks and things without any electricity, and it went downhill really quick. So I do regret my choices when I was a kid. However, I have obviously been working to change all of that. Ooh, he's a feisty. This is a male. He's a male tangerine, and he has the best color that I have seen on any of the leopard geckos I've ever kept. He's also feisty. I've had him now for probably about 2 months. The perfect thing that I do love about leopard geckos is they're so easy to take care of. His tank consists of heat, a piece of slate rock, which isn't exactly necessary, it's not required, a water bowl, some carpet down for the bottom. I don't recommend using sand or any kind of barks because they can ingest that and they have a really hard time digesting it. Usually causes impaction inside of them and they slowly starve to death. So not recommended to use anything other than carpet, paper towel, anything else other than sands or coconut husk or coconut shells, walnut shells, etc. Otherwise, beautiful animal, really easy to work with. Yeah, they can be kind of a pain, which is why I recommended crested geckos way back when I first made that video. There we go, get some color on them here. Just because they're a little bit more difficult to handle, not having the exact grip and the tendency to just run wherever the heck they want. Ain't that right, dude? So he is my big male, and he's going to jump off of the desk. Next up, we have a Tremper albino. She is going to be, well, obviously a she. She's my female. I do have others, which I'm not sure on the sexing. I know one other for sure. This is my first Tremper albino that I've also kept. I believe I only have one morph that I've actually kept before. So this is a new one to me, just a new coloration. She's pretty mellow, she's pretty calm, as you can obviously see compared to the male. I haven't really had any issues with her as far as getting away from me. She can be a little bit jumpy at times, but otherwise it's not too bad. But just the coloration of these animals is amazing for such a usually cheap price, when you can go and pay as much as I did for something with a blue head and a brown body and have it die on you within a matter of days. You know, something just so simple that you can easily find is just amazing. So if you can't already tell, I will be planning on doing breeding projects. That is my next goal.
So you can see the kind of chocolate bands. She doesn't have the exact red eyes. Usually you're obviously not going to see that with Trempers. I can't even show you her eyes because she doesn't want to look at the camera. Nope. So that's my Tremper albino girl. Next up is the one I can for sure say is another female. And this is another one that this is one I've actually kept. This is going to be a carrot tail. Carrot tail usually because she's got a higher orange down towards the base of her tail. She doesn't have a whole lot of spotting anywhere. She's got a few spots on her head, but that's really about it. As you can see, it's more of a darker kind of orange, I want to say. It's not as bright as what the male is going to have. Otherwise, still a cool looking gecko, very healthy. That was a big key when I was picking them all out and figuring out what I wanted to work with. What I don't understand is why none of them want to look at the camera except for the male. Kind of a bummer there, but I don't want to force them or stress them out any more than they are. There we go. There's a good shot. And there she goes. But anyway, so that's going to be another of the females. No, they are not all together. I am not currently trying to breed them all. They are not a proper weight nor a proper age. I believe this girl's actually getting there, but not quite yet. I do want to fatten her up some more before I just go ahead and decide, hey, let's have some babies. So there is a responsibility that I never took when I was a kid. It was kind of a wing it, see how it goes, and things went downhill. So that is my carrot tail, which could also be something else that I don't remember, but I'm assuming carrot tail for right now, just to be safe. Oh, okay. Now the next three, I will tell you I have not a clue as to what morph they are, or male or female for sure, but I will tell you that they are the spunkiest geckos I've ever worked with. Okay, so this is one of them, which I'm going to assume is a male. However, I don't know quite yet. If you go this way. What I do like about this one is he has really cool distinct brown bands with black spots inside of them. He also has orange outlining across his yellow bands, or yellow body, I suppose. Probably yellow body. It's hard to see on the camera. It's probably the light's kind of messing with it a lot of bit. But anyway, just a juvenile. I'm assuming it's going to be a male, but I don't know exactly yet. Let's see if even I can get... There's those bands. You can see the light brown. It's more of an oddball coloration that I never got to work with when I was younger, or nor did I see. So I want to say it was something that kind of just popped up. If anyone has a clue, I don't know if it's a ghost. I think that's a term I've also heard before. So if any of you leopard gecko keepers out there have a clue as to what kind of morph this guy may or may not be, let me know. I'm always willing to take in some comments or any kind of messages on YouTube as well. Come on, little dude. Okay. We got one of the one that looks similar to him, but instead of the brown bands like you saw, he's got more of a gray band to him, which is why I thought this to be more of a ghost kind of a coloration. Let's see if I can get him over here. He's got a really, God, I want to say this might be a female, but she's really freaking spunky if it's a female. Anyway, this one's got more of a whiter tail, as you can see. He also does not like... Oh! He also doesn't like attention. Wow. You are gonna be a pain in the rear, aren't you? Okay. So, I won't keep him for long. Because he's very, very, very spunky. Now, for anyone who's looking and willing to keep a leopard gecko or think, gee, this would be a good idea for my kid, just remember they do have tails that detach when they're pulled on in case of a life or death situation where they'll have to detach them in order to get away from the attacker, I suppose. So, just be careful of that. Yes, they grow back, but it's not really fun to have a leopard gecko without a tail. See, now he calms down. He's on my warm hand. He's okay with that. But as you can see, he's got more of a gray banding to him. It's not exactly the brown you saw in the last one, and his tail is a lot whiter. So, anyone has a clue on this one, go ahead and put out your ideas as to what the morph may or may not be. As I said, there are morphs out there that are very, very much so new to me. So I guess the future of breeding is going to be even more hectic. Ooh. Okay. Next, I have on this one, it's a Baldy. Don't have a clue, that's all I have on it. I have not a clue what it is otherwise specifically. I just saw the term Baldy. Now, why do they call it a Baldy? Well, because, if I can get him, her, I'm assuming a her, but it looks like a young male. There's no spots on the head. So no spots. Oop, come on, dude. Do that. He does have light striping, as you can see, and lighter yellow bands in between those darker bands. More of a higher yellow or higher orange coloration towards the base of the tail. So I did go for this one specifically just because of the oddball kind of color. What it did remind me of was the, oh boy, God, you're a weird one. This one jumps. God, a patternless something. And I wish I remembered. I used to have one when I was younger, and it's also one I've been looking for, but I have nothing yet. And he's gonna go back. But otherwise, really cool coloration. I do like that yellow and that orange. A little bit of the white down at the bottom. So yet again, if anyone has any ideas as to what I'm dealing with this gecko, go ahead and let me know as far as morphs or possible ideas, any kind of suggestions, or it could be, it might be. That always helps out, kind of narrows it down most of the time. Yeah, it might be a male, but I can't tell. So, otherwise that is it. That is all I have for this video. Once again, very sorry, just because it has been a fairly long time since I've made a video, and this is all I have for you guys. So a longer video with some leopard geckos in it. Hope that those of you who are leopard gecko enthusiasts, I hope I said that right. Hope you enjoyed the video. Do plan on future breeding projects. I don't exactly know what's going to happen in the future with any kind of reptile, but I do plan on actually growing these guys out and getting things going. So we'll just see. It does seem like a fun little project just to kind of start out. Oh, yep. Yeah, there's a bucket. Your friends are in there. And you'll go back anyway. Yes, the 3 youngest ones are being housed together, just because I don't really have much of a concern at this age or this size as far as any kind of breeding goes. So, kids these days, you know how they are. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all next time. Going off the desk like your friend was not a good idea. Oh, yeah, you're gonna do it. Ooh, crazy buggers.
I need you to stay.